Hey everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or however you celebrate. We asked you for your favorite clips over the past 2 years, so we brought a few of them together for you today in our first Listener's Choice Best Of. Then come on back after the new year for an all-new episode. Enjoy the show.
So this is an article that it's so mean from the start. This article ran in the New York Post. Millennial dads have pathetic DIY skills compared to baby boomers.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Our dad's essentials DIY skills in decline. All right, scroll down a little bit and let's read it. So, our dad's essentials DIY skills in decline. According to new research, millennial dads are less capable than their own dads when it comes to everyday DIY fixes and preferring to rely on professional help instead. A new poll of 1,000 millennial dads and 1,000 baby boomer dads have found that when a DIY task needs to be done at home, more than half of the millennials prefer to call a professional. Shots fired at this millennial dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are any of us surprised by this?
No.
Does anybody not see this as a total...
Did they need to do this study?
Yes. Does not everybody see this as 100% a reaction from us dads who would have loved our dads to be fixing the house less?
Right.
You know? We stopped doing that.
All of my emotional energy into the drywall that needs to be patched.
Yes. And you're like,
meanwhile,
you're like, Dad, I have a dry heart. Yeah. And it's like, we are this way for a reason. The effect is we're not super handy. And the cause was because our dads were too involved. They were doing too much.
Things need to be tended to.
Yeah.
But children also need to be tended to.
Exactly.
Right. Studies show boomers neglected half of their millennial children to teach them things.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. Studies show boomer dads. That's how it is. Studies show boomer dads good at fixing house and breaking homes.
Fixing house to sell at market.
Study shows millennial child would like hug from father. Study shows.
And how was school?
Yeah. Study shows millennial child wishes it could be held like his dad holds his hammer.
The pristine care that they put the socket wrenches back in the case. For
Study
the next
shows
project.
Study shows millennial child walked home from his own baseball game. But door is fixed. This is so obvious. This is a total reactionary thing. The most obvious response. So funny to me. I don't know. It's great. I mean, if you could fix some things, great.
Listen,
but great.
Life is all about balance.
Life is all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
They're so witty. They just found these ways to be like, I don't want to do that. Oh, broke a light bulb.
Yeah.
Gotta go fix that.
Study shows millennial child broke the fan in his own room so his dad would come visit. Hey, Dad, I don't think the fan's working. Think you could come in here for an hour?
What? I just fixed this yesterday.
I don't know what seems to be wrong with it.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's so funny. You know, as a 40-year-old adult now, married to a woman, raising daughters, one of my best friends is female. What I've realized is regardless of if you look young or you look old or you develop early or you develop late, just being a teenage girl is real hard.
It is.
Every version of it is hard. I don't think one of them is easier than the other. It's just tough.
Our family ate 2.5 pounds of salmon yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Wow, what a shift. That didn't relate to anything that I said whatsoever.
I just thought of
I mean, no, we can go that direction. I set up a topic there, and Andy made a note
sorry.
like this might. No. I would actually rather talk about this.
I like to ruin bits.
No, it's so
like your brain is like set up punchline, and then I'm like, I'm gonna say this.
That was an all-time shift.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's funny. It's good. It's just so funny. Because I was like, let's explore a topic idea together. Andy caught it. Andy was like, this might be a thing. And you're like, 2.5
salmon.
And I'm sitting there typing, and I'm like, well, that's not that much. My family does 6.
Yeah.
But then...
My bad.
No, it's funny. It's very funny. We want to talk about buying cars, baby, because the Nickersons, we have reached a point where we need a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Not need, we're in the market.
About 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, our van's alternator went out.
Yeah.
And we were like doing the math, and this van has had 3 alternators in like 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not running well.
What it likes to do is wait till right after it gets off warranty and then break. Which you're always like,
We just too many alternators.
Yeah.
So it's had
you can't alternate that many alternators.
It's run its course.
It's run its course.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're just back to the first one.
So we're in the market. We're like, and it's like
we've had the car for 9 years. It has 150,000 miles.
Low mileage,
yeah,
but it's a 2009.
It's 2011.
I thought the other Honda was
2010.
2010. Meet me in the middle.
Honda Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey.
Yeah.
And like it's a.
Actually, it might be 11. We have a 2010 and a 2011.
Which one's the? I think the van's the older one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Vans age like dog years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because it's like, oh, this is a 10-year-old van. It's like, it looks like it's 40.
Right. Yeah, that's very funny.
Just the wear and tear.
The families destroy
children.
minivans.
No, vans like age like meth heads. You're like, ooh, it's a rough 38. Some hard years.
Yeah, it's really bad.
You know. You look at a family van, you're like, hey, you did not age well. You need to moisturize, man. You gotta, whew.
The interior is like, the girls just like play with the elbow rest.
Yeah.
It's just like shredded.
The interior is lost.
Yeah. Just picking that dry skin like a scab.
Yeah.
Just taking it apart.
They took all the leather off, and then they just went for the cotton.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's, at this point, the interior is like a fidget toy.
Yeah.
1,000%.
You're like, oh, that'll entertain me for a little bit.
And we lost a sun visor.
Yeah, we lost
early
that
on.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So sorry, passenger. The doors, the real function of the van, one, all the space, but the captain's chairs in the middle, but then these sliding doors.
Yeah.
That your kids won't hit other cars
when
they open the doors.
Right. That's why we were a minivan family.
But inevitably, the latches go.
Yeah.
And then the automatic, they stop sliding. But ours had no bells and whistles. Like, not one. It had a radio.
Not a single bell, not a single whistle. It actually doesn't have a horn. It just has an actual whistle it gave you. The only bell and whistle is one physical whistle. They just go. There's no
Jingle
horn.
bells.
Jingle. This is our blinker. Our bells and whistles are one bell and one whistle. Physical bell, physical whistle. We got a real.
I think we paid for a CD player. Does that sound right?
No, it wasn't that
came
old.
with a CD player.
Yeah,
okay.
Mel, that means 2010. I think those are pretty standard issued late 90s.
You're right. It's too much.
Yeah. We paid for an old CD deck. Flop down.
We wanted a cassette.
We did in the previous van. We did do that.
Yeah. We lost our radio 2 weeks in with our kids. They put so much stuff in that CD player. That thing's
hilarious.
done. I haven't replaced it in 6 years.
Yeah,
we did have a
terrible.
CD player in our old one, and I know that because
Mm-hmm.
our kids were young, and you would play Adventures in Odyssey. Or
I would. Oh man, you hated books on tape.
I liked Frog and Toad.
Frog and Toad was
Yeah.
kind of the one that we could all agree
Tomorrow.
on. Tomorrow.
We'll do it all tomorrow.
I had this like lullaby CD that
We
I
must
would
have
play.
self-control, Toad.
Yeah. So good. I'm
Frog and- yeah.
Arnold Lobel. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, Nobel.
Nobel. If you ever study like early childhood, right? There's like the preschooler stage, and
Right.
the baby stage,
Right.
but they all blur, and so like when you have a toddler, you're not like today's the day he became a preschooler.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless you're like they started preschool, I guess
Yeah.
that would do it. But like when you have a senior in high school and a freshman in high school and a fifth grader, which we do, you're like, oh, they're like swapping stages, like,
Right.
but it's like a gradual process that you don't see right away.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Day to day. And so then when you're like, you don't need that third row in the car, you're like, but I didn't know that stage was
Yeah,
over.
yeah. You're like, but where do I put the car seat in?
and the stroller
Oh.
and the pack and play.
Wait, you
And the
mean
bikes.
you mean I don't have to travel around with a full nursery anymore? There is that stage of life when you have young kids that you are just a traveling nursery. What do you need? Pack and play?
You gotta
Double
what's-
stroller?
What's this one? The portable high chair.
Portable high chair? Yeah. What do you got a
play
potty training?
mats.
Got a potty training? Got a little toilet right here.
Yeah. Just what do you need? Put
What
it
do
in the car.
Blankets, wipes, snacks.
Trash bags.
Yeah. Minivan is a traveling nursery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play mat down.
Yeah. You can nap in there.
Yeah.
You can eat in there.
Yeah. I have my snacks, and if these run out, we have the snacks that are under the seats that have just kind of fallen under there. So really
The-
got
the backup
double
snacks.
Backup snacks. We got double snacks.
In the trunk,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got the emergency snacks.
Yeah,
Then we go through the drive-through
Yeah.
and get some more snacks.
You can poop, puke, and play in here.
Whatever.
And throw up.
Yeah. Whatever fluid you're dealing with, I got the answer.
The answer is wipes
Yeah.
and plastic bags.
Yes.
We've seen the Hello Kitty cafe like truck in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
And they have a cafe you can wait for in Irvine.
The line's always so long.
So long. Hours of wait. Now, if you get a resi in the bow room, you can buy something from that cafe and
There you
not
go.
wait in line.
That's nice.
So if you
And
want to
a
buy
resi in the bow
more
room.
stuff, that's a little perk.
Yeah.
So we just there's huge line. Everybody's so hot and tired.
Yeah.
And then we just walk to the front,
Nice.
sit down in an air
You had
conditioned.
the TSA
building.
pre-check of you had the fast pass.
It's a nice feeling. They're like, what's in there?
There's nothing like
you
it.
can't go in there.
Yeah. There's nothing like an afternoon out with your kids to make you wish that Wetzel's Pretzels serve beer, though.
Oh, 100%.
This is what our conversation was. I was like, Dustin,
100%.
I'm with my 9-year-old for the third day at the Irvine Spectrum.
Yeah.
She does not want to sit down at a restaurant.
Yeah.
She wants Wetzel's for
Yeah.
the third day in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, ah!
Yeah. And
Just
you would
serve
like to
a
wet
beer.
your whistle.
Serve a cold beer.
Yeah. It's so easy.
Help a parent out.
Most, pretzel. What goes better with
What
pretzels
goes
than
better?
beer?
That's it.
Pretzels and beer.
Open carry
Yeah.
in the Irvine Spectrum. That will solve
Yeah.
all the problems.
I would buy.
Create some new ones.
Yeah. Yeah. You get me a Wetzel's lager. Oh. And then
You just take it back to the parking garage. Try and find your car.
I'd go out with the kids. I'd go without the kids regularly. If Wetzel's served beer, every
Everyone would
other
be happy.
no, if Wetzel's served beer, the whole food court would be out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Wetzel's
It's
put
the
on,
only thing in the mall the kids want to eat.
yeah,
Only thing.
just 3 on tap. Bud Light, of course. For us woke. You're gonna have a Bud Light. You're gonna have a local IPA, and then what's your third? A Blue Moon, maybe?
Yeah, half.
A half.
Yeah.
There you go.
A half. Hot day half.
Have a hef and a Wetzel, 7,000 calories, and then go fall asleep in the massage chair.
And your kids can get a lemonade
That's
slushy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anywhere, Wetzel's should definitely have a beer garden or like a little Oktoberfest
Oh
Hofbrauhaus.
my gosh. I want a Wetzel's beer garden so bad. I'm like salivating at the idea of a beer
know.
in Wetzel's.
I was like, we can only get Wetzel's one day.
Yeah.
I cannot eat this.
It's like going to, yeah,
At least I walked 3 miles.
yeah. It's like going to a baseball game, but not having to go to a baseball game. It's the sensation of being. Oh, it's incredible. I want it so bad.
It was the only place that didn't have a line. Like Shake Shack.
Wetzel's
huge
can't have
line.
a line.
No,
it's
they
impossible.
Yeah, it's the only place. Just grab and go. Just
It's so fast.
yeah.
Oh, and you could get the pizza bites.
It's so hot and tasty too. I mean, it
Oh.
always is just so delish.
I want a smooth lager and the pepperoni bites.
You're just like this.
Just
smiling.
cruising around the mall. Best day of my life.
Yep. I love the Cinnabites, the cinnamon
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Oh, I would get those all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the cream.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
Oh,
With a nice Merlot. Give me the cinnamon bites and a red. Mmm. What a pairing. Mm. 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 Mm.
oh.
Now, which red would you recommend to go with the dipping cheese? Is that going to be like a Cab Sauv or like a Malbec? Which one goes best with the original
With the Gouda.
unsalted pretzel and the dipping cheese? Which cheese? Don't mind if I do. Wetzel's, if you don't get on this, Auntie Anne's is going to.
Mhm.
There it is. Who's going to get there
Who's
first?
going to get there first? Who's going to get there first?
Irvine had both. They had both.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Wetzel's
everybody's-
and Auntie Anne's.
Auntie Anne.
Auntie Anne's.
2-episode day, we just started like, what if we said the word silly?
So I'm home from Irvine.
Uh,
Finally. Finally.
Wetzel's beer, baby.
Yeah.
It sounds like a beer name. I mean,
100%.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It works. Wetzel's half.
Wetzel's Hef.
At least during October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wetzel's,
Get a liquor license in
Wetzel's
October.
Fest.
Yeah.
Wetzel's Fest.
They've got their own beer.
Wets Fest.
Wets Fest. Yeah. I can see Wets Fest in the parking lot of any Orange County mall near a Spirit Halloween because it's
Oh,
October.
that's it.
It's out.
That's it.
Couple bouncy houses.
For the kids.
Couple corn mazes.
Pumpkins.
That's it.
Wets Fest.
Wets Fest.
So much better than a pumpkin patch.
Oh my gosh. It just all needs to converge. The trifecta.
Yeah.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
Wets Fest. Pumpkin
yeah.
Patch.
Yeah. A little petting zoo, maybe.
That's it.
You don't even need a Bavarian village anymore.
No.
You got it all.
No. You can play the music.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little cake walk out. A little something for the.
Something for the kids.
Make a little fundraiser for the Kiwanis or whatever that group is. Pass the fireman boot around.
Sure, why not?
Doss food.
Make a little community, a little effort out of it. You know, then we raise some money for the firefighters.
To co-drive too.
Yeah, like,
With a like edible bake sale.
yeah. Oh, come on.
Something for everybody.
Little. What a talent show. Let's throw a talent show in there. Let's have a little.
A dog show.
Yeah. Oh, classic cars.
Yeah. That's it. All right.
You can have some classic cars.
But only a wiener dog festival. Because, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
German.
What's best? People are going to travel.
It's rock.
People are going to sell some Wetsfest Rock shirts.
We got merch.
Tour dates on the back.
There's not a person listening to this right now that wouldn't go, yeah, I'm going to Wetsfest.
Getting a ticket.
I'm going to Wetsfest. Are you going to Wets? They'll call it, it'll just be Wets for short. Yeah. And you can have some of the edgier shirts that say like, get Wets. I'm Wets.
I got wet.
I got wet.
I got Wets. This year's celebrity spokesperson, Carson Wentz. We got Carson Wentz. Wentz is at Wentz. They got Wentz to Wentz.
And Pete Wentz.
And Pete Wentz is here. They got Wentz at Wentz. I'm in.
Sign me up.
Man. I'd get a season's pass at Wentz. I'd get the Wentz pass.
I'm crying.
Yeah, well, So anyways, what I'm saying is you need to serve some beer at Wetzel's Pretzel. You said yesterday, you're like, it's not easy being me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said is I was sad, and then I got you sad, and then I was less sad.
Yeah, when you're sad, it's nice to be sad with somebody. Because when you're sad by yourself, now what are you? Lonely. And
you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah, you're lonely. You're
I don't think you have to be lonely if you're sad. But misery loves company.
If you're the only one feeling sad, what are you saying right now? If you're sad and the people aren't feeling the same one, now you're lonely.
You're
feel
alone in your feelings.
AKA,
I don't think you have to be lonely and when you're sad. I think you're sad.
I know.
Okay, fine. You're lonely.
No, but do you
sad.
get what if you're the only one that feels that emotion?
I get what you're saying. I don't think you have to be lonely if you're sad.
Mel and I have been fighting about I'm bringing it up.
Don't.
Mel needs to get her eyes checked.
No.
Andy, how often are you supposed to go to the optometrist?
Once a year?
Once a year.
He has glasses.
It's not a dentist thing. It's not if you need them thing. You're supposed to get your eyes checked every couple of years. Now this is you're so mad.
I am ready to talk. So as you know, we were gone 4 nights. We returned 2 ants. Ants in our house, ants in our cars.
I don't know if people know that is after we were gone, but yes.
It was very hot.
We had ants in the van, everybody. Ants were in the van.
And everyone likes, between Dustin and I, Dustin's like, I dealt with it. And then I'm like, I dealt with it. And the truth is we both did in various forms and times. I was the one driving around on the weekends getting bit by ants.
Yeah. I was driving, but I was driving during the week getting bit by ants. The ants were not a solo problem for you. Everyone dealt with the ants.
Okay, but on the weekends, I was the one.
Yeah, but I dealt with it on the weekdays. What's the difference?
So the difference is that you would come home. This is, okay, if you have a partner who's gone for 3 or 4 days each week, then they return and your solo problems become a couple problems.
This was never a solo problem.
Or a family problem.
This is...
Sure, whatever.
You tell your version of the story, then I'll tell my version.
So the point is that I was dealing with a problem all weekend. And I was like, I got a new thing. It's working. The ants are gone. And then,
the ants were not gone,
you saw some ants and you told me I needed to get my vision checked. And I did not appreciate that my weekend problem had now become a healthcare problem. As well as a smearing on our van ceiling or like the windows, and I've been dealing with this smear and I've been cleaning this smear and it's not going away. And again, this reinforced that I need to get my eyes checked. And I get it. I should get my eyes checked. We had
that's
a weird...
That's the first time you've said that.
Okay,
We've been fighting about this for 2 weeks, and that's
Listen,
the first time you said
we
that.
We had some weird healthcare for a couple of years during the pandemic. It did not cover much.
Eye care's never covered, barely.
Also, I turned 40, and now I have to get all these like deep cleanings from the dentist, and my jaw's driving me crazy.
Right.
I got the biggest lecture in the world from my hygienist, and I have so many appointments, and I have to apply to colleges with my son, and he's a senior,
right?
And it's Christmas
Right.
is approaching and the holidays are approaching.
Right.
So I need to push this off into the new year.
Right.
Okay, I'll get my eyes checked. But when I'm dealing with ants, I don't want to.
Right.
So I understand that like you can say something and care about someone, and that's how you stay healthy is you have someone in your life pestering you to like get a test and like stay up on appointments.
Well, yeah, and that's like
that's a healthy.
Should you be doing your back stretches, Dustin? You know, like so you're there's things that we do for each other, absolutely.
So yes, but in the moment nobody wants to get their vision thrown at them. I mean, this is like when your grandpa stops hearing well and everyone's like yelling at him and then everyone's angry and frustrated
right
you won't wear his hearing aids.
Yes, that is a very accurate telling of the story. What from my brain what happened, because everything Mel just said is correct. The ants and the vision are two separate issues. Unfortunately, the ants were kind of what cued my brain to kind of go on this trail of like, man, when was the last time Mel got her vision checked? And not like you need, like you're blind as a bat. Go get that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
It was before I went to Nashville.
Yeah.
I had to get a new I had to get a new real ID.
Right.
Like a driver's license.
Yeah. So there was that. And then, so I go, you don't see something that I saw, and I go, oh, I wonder if. And then you mentioned the smeared van, and you mentioned driving
it's
at
just
night.
A streak.
And I was like, that's not been a huge issue for me. I wonder if. And then I go, Mel's 40 now, and Mel's mom wears glasses, and at a certain point, everyone wears glasses. It just the day comes for glass. So it goes on this, but your brain, understandably, was like, you're not even here to help with this. I'm getting bit by ants, man. This is not about me needing glasses. But as any good partner fight is, this offshooted like 20 different fights. Like, I kept bringing it up as like a joke, which you would laugh at sometimes and not laugh at other times. And then we had the ongoing, then there was you're like, well, I get physicals. And I'm like, well, they don't check your vision there. And you're like, no, they do. And I go, now this is a different fight on whether or not a doctor checks your eyes. That's a different fight. I was like, that little thing does not check your vision. And so I went to the side of a room and I held up something. I was like, can you read this? You're like, I'm getting bit by ants. I don't care about your dumb vision test. And I was like, why are you so resistant to this? Because historically, Mel does not receive feedback well. And so I was like, what is this? Is this like a pride thing where you're like, my eyes work? Like, because that doesn't sound like you. But then it's I
don't have time for this.
I don't have time. And that makes sense. That to me is the best argument that a parent has for anything, of just like, I don't have time for one more appointment. Because you are right now, we are at this like major crossroads of life where we are like, what do we do with money? Like things are better for us career-wise than they've ever been. But we also are staring down the barrel of a kid going to college next year, maybe, and then the next two,
and then the next one starts driving, and then suddenly we need to own 4 cars.
Yeah, and you just because you're like, we have the 2, and then the thing, and then the middle one will start driving. Does Joel get a car if he what is it? And then is he gonna run in college? There's like a lot of, and like are we gonna rent again in July? Do we have time to move? Like, are we gonna do a thing for a trip and holiday? There's a million things where and for work we're always 9 months to a year ahead.
Like,
I mean, I just promoted a May date for you guys. And reality is I have dates for next July. Like, so anyways, there's just a million things like that you're just like, dude, what do I do? I don't have time to go get my eyes checked. But let the record show, I noticed the ants. I killed a bunch of ants myself. I was the first one to go to the store to get those little ant traps, and I started looking into different things that you could do. And we had a guy deep clean the car. That was all led and initiated by me. So that was the second fight where you're like, I'm doing the ant problem. I'm like, listen, I took the first few steps. I was dealing with this ant thing first. I actually got in the car and dealt with the ants when there were more ants than you'd ever seen in that car. Because I was the first one to
Why does that matter?
I know, but it matters because here comes the fight. Because you made it sound like you were the only one who did anything about the ants. So that's when I took offense.
Yeah,
because that's
not what I meant.
I know, but that's an ongoing fight that we have of when we get. You're like, well, you just leave, and that's another fight where we have where like, well, you don't do any. When you're real mad.
Yeah. Well, I do think.
And I'll be like, you're right. I don't do anything. I don't help in any way. This is when we're really spiraling.
What I mean about like if you have like a firefighter spouse, like they're gone 3 or 4 days and they come back and they're like, we need to clean out this drawer, you know,
Yeah.
or like this system isn't working.
Yeah.
Why do the kids do this?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, these are great questions, great thoughts. You're probably, we could get rid of half this drawer, but I don't want to right now.
This is not atop my priority list.
And
yeah.
I think I might have just said this to myself, but there's a time when you're like, hey, I'm not looking for feedback on this.
Right.
Like, let's just focus on the ants.
Yeah. That's what I say. That's what I say to you anytime I get a haircut. And you just look at it and I go, I don't want your feedback. Whatever you're going to say is going to hurt my feelings.
Well, and sometimes
I got the one I got. There's nothing we can do about it.
there is something like with like outfits too,
Yeah.
where you're like, I'm going to wear this no matter what.
We have one right now with a head shop that I like, and you're like, it needs to be tweaked. And I'm like, I like it. And you're like, well, I'm going to tweak it. And you're like, okay. Well, I mean, if you do that, and I like the tweaked version, I will use that. But this is not. Well,
this is like a couple in business.
Yeah.
You know?
I bought a couple. I think it's a couple thing too. I mean, I got a couple cheap pair of sunglasses yesterday, and I do not want to know your thoughts on them. I don't.
I know. I know that.
But but we know that after 20 years of marriage. That's what I mean.
It only took 20 years.
Because no, I mean, year 18, you'd have been like, oh, they're kind of small on your face. And I'm like, don't. I like them fine. These work for me. You've had at times where you'll come out wearing something and I'll kind of look at you and you're like, don't say anything.
Yeah.
You know what it is I think one thing that we can grow is 20 years. You shouldn't give feedback unless they ask for it.
Unless it's positive.
No, unless they ask for feedback.
Yeah.
If they want feedback on something.
Feedback is negative.
Not always.
No,
I'll run clips.
Compliments.
I'll run clips and jokes by you.
Yeah.
If they're not soliciting feedback, I'm only giving positive to you or silence.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And in general in life, you shouldn't give feedback unless you're asked because people don't
100%.
receive it.
Yeah.
Or they don't listen to it.
What about breath? What about breath to a friend or
oh gosh
or BO?
That's
tell
really,
the person?
That's really dicey.
Everyone says they want
really
to
dicey.
know. I don't think you really do.
This is the bodysuit. You know, no, my bodysuit.
Oh,
in
no one
Target,
told you, yeah.
Nobody. It's such an awkward moment, but nobody wants to be like confront the awkwardness of it.
Maybe it was a choice. Maybe. Well, anyways, the bunny's alive. I think we resolved that nicely. But just so you know,
it's not a fight right now.
No, it's not, but it was.
Yeah.
The reality is all the things can be true. You probably do need to get your vision checked for your own health because it's a thing that you have to do. I brought it up in the worst way possible. It's multiple things can be true.
You're adding a problem to a problem.
You dealt with the ants. I dealt with the ants. For the record, the ants are gone. I've not seen an ant in a while, which is good because we're going to a concert with friends and I'm driving and on Monday and I'm like, hey, we're taking the ant van.
Ant van.
Ant van.
Ant-Man has a van.
So anyways, thanks for everyone that coming out to Boston, by the way. Weekend recap. These are my smoothest segues ever. I was on a flight. A couple weeks have gone by. I don't remember where I was, but a aisle across from me, there's woman in the middle, husband on the aisle, and I don't know what was the. Yeah. That was it. And woman, and she was in the middle, and he was in the aisle, and they're coming by, like at the beginning, giving the speeches and stuff. And they go. She goes, "Can I get a snack?" We haven't even. I mean, we're not
You're
even
on the
moving
ground.
yet.
Yeah.
And they go, "No, we'll come by later with snacks." And she goes, "I get really anxious when I'm flying. Can I get a snack and a drink?" It's like, wow, they said no, and you've already really escalated this. And it worked. They gave her drink. They brought her 2 little mini things of wine. And she's like, "I'll share with you." And they're like, "Deal." And then, of course, they didn't. And I was like, what is going? I mean, this is Southwest stuff. Delta, they'd be like,
2
"Ma'am,
wines?"
I know. I was like, "You can get that. What are you in first class?" Yeah, 2 wines. And I was like, it's like my old bit. I was like, this has my full attention already. Cause this is my in-flight entertainment here. Woman has her 2 wines, pulls out a 3rd wine she had in her bag already. The seatbelt sign has not gone off. She has 3 wines in. She's no longer anxious. And I watched this woman go through like every phase of alcohol at 30,000. Buzzed and chatty.
Yeah.
Real, just chatting with this neighbor over here, chatting with this neighbor, looking behind her. There was a baby crying. She was like talking to the baby, like, "Oh, poor baby, I'll hold him." Like she was like, I was like, okay. And then
She's going to help everyone.
And then she got real cuddly with her husband.
Yes. I know she's going to fall asleep.
Well,
but is she going to have like a bunch of snacks
hold
first? I'm making predictions. She's going to take a phone call in the air.
She got real cuddly with her husband. Dare I say a bit handsy. Nothing led to that, but was like just lovey-dovey, you know. She was on wine.
Best trip ever.
Yeah. Husband falls asleep. Now it's just her. She's trying to figure out her screen. She can't figure out the screen. She's hitting it really, really hard. All right.
Oh no.
Turns on Fox News. Starts getting very politically ranty. I can't make out a lot of what she's saying. She's very passionate about it. It's a lot of like, of course. Oh my gosh. And I'm not even saying it was a left or right thing. I didn't even know if she was agreeing or disagreeing at this point.
She was mad.
But she was very, 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 very political. She turns it off. She starts crying.
What?
She starts.
Descent has happened.
She's on her way down. Husband's still asleep. She does go cry to sleep. You're right. Then she wakes up and she needs to go to the bathroom. And
Yes.
Andy, I sent you
Yes.
this picture. Can you pull up the picture I texted you?
Her husband's asleep.
Decides to do the very courteous thing and not wake her husband. So at this point, she full steps over her husband on that's her stepping on this like drunken woman.
She's like, I got it.
That's his face. You see that's his face. She's crotched to his face. And while she's doing it, he wakes up.
She sits on him.
To his wife just straddling him. And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't want to wake you." Gets in the aisle, gets on her knees, and is like apologizing to him. Starts crying again, Mel. Goes to the bathroom, composes herself. Next thing I see, this is not a joke. Next thing I see, I look back and she's holding someone's dog. And she just said, it's like, what a moment. And then, of course, she gets back to her seat, falls asleep. All of this is in 90 minutes, by the way. Every up and down, lands peacefully, has a great flight.
Doesn't remember any of it.
Doesn't remember any of it, but all you have to do is say you're anxious, apparently, and you get 2 wines before takeoff. Oh, that was my stranger danger. Anyways, everybody,
So
send us
good.
emails at don'tmakemecomebackthare@gmail.com. Join the Facebook group, everybody. Not every grade needs to be celebrated. I know I sound like a real boomer here. We do not need a middle school graduation ceremony. We don't do it. We don't need it. I'll give you senior year and kindergarten.
Our school doesn't do a 6th grade, like our 5th or 6th grade promotion. So our kids didn't do that, but I do agree with you. It gets a little out of hand.
It's too much. It's 8th grade. 8th grade is an easy grade.
It was like, I mean, when you have to get there like 2 hours before the event starts to get seats.
I guarantee you that sitting through a 2-hour-long 8th grade graduation ceremony is harder than 8th grade. And then now we have to do the teacher retirement speech. I don't care that you're retiring, man. You're not. I have no connection to you. Just because you
Our
taught,
kids didn't have
just
that
because
guy.
you taught here for a while doesn't mean you get the mic for a minute. Do this for the staff. Why? There's a 88-year-old grandma sitting on a stone seat, and we need to hear you talk about how much teaching meant to you. And now this kid's doing a rap. Like, I don't need to hear a 14-year-old white girl do a rap about the school. I don't need this. It's not an achievement to graduate 8th grade. I take it back. It's not any more of an achievement to graduate 8th grade than any of the other grades. And actually, academically, 8th grade is not particularly hard. There are much harder years ahead of you. I actually think it's a bad way to set up kids for high school, to make them think that they've accomplished anything.
I think it's...
You need to go into high school scared. You need to go to high school with the fear of God in your eyes, that these kids are going to be mean, and it's only going to go downhill from here, and these teachers are going to be harsh. And like you should not go into high school being like, I'm really something, man. I really did it. I got through middle school.
I think that's it. I think it's that you emotionally survived middle school. That's the commencement.
High school is teenage prison.
Yeah. But you know what? There is an argument to be made that middle school emotionally is harder than high school. But that's not what they're saying.
That's just because you're like, the kids haven't found themselves
Yeah.
yet. Yeah. Listen, I know most of the teachers that are there at the NA. It's nice. The kids are...
I'm not talking about our school specifically. I'm talking about 8th grade.
No, I just mean you look out and you see the teachers that like taught your kids, and it's like a closing ceremony.
Yeah.
But it was very long. You just got to trim it.
It's not the accomplishment that high school is, because here's the thing. I think for a graduation to mean something, it means to me like you have an actual tangible accomplishment in life, which graduating high school is, because that's the end of school.
Public education.
That's the end of public education for you.
Yeah.
You did it. You have a high school degree. There's no such thing as an 8th grade degree.
Yeah, you don't have a degree yet.
There's nothing to celebrate, because, to quote, there's nothing to celebrate graduating middle school. So just like, I'm trying to say this right. Sorry, this is just, you can't celebrate graduating middle school in the same way, to quote Kobe here, is job's not done.
Yes.
Like, the job is not done. You have not finished this. You got through, you're up 2-0, or at least with the kindergartners, it's cute. 8th grader graduation is not cute. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. And there's too many kids. That's what it is. That you love that your kid accomplished it, and Gloria's in the choir, and that was fun. But okay, I got off track. But
It's just long and boring.
it's long and boring, and just at least let me be on my phone while my kid's not up. Let me be on my phone. This current generation of parents is the first generation of parents that it gets to summer, and we look at our kids like, oh, we have to do something with you. Like, we have to be involved in your... We're the first generation of parents that it gets to summer break and like, oh, we have to be involved in your lives.
It's not uncommon for teenagers to be at day camps.
Yes.
As helpers.
Yes.
Like,
our parents... That wasn't a thing. Our parents, when we were kids, summer would hit, and that would affect our parents' life in no way whatsoever. Because they didn't care. They weren't supervising us. Their lives did not alter in any way whatsoever. They went to work. They didn't go to work. They did whatever they did. They were not planning activities. They were not doing anything for us. They were not supervising us. There was no sidewalk chalk. There was no crafts. If we were lucky, they would turn the sprinkler on. Because that was entertainment back in the day, which is like, here's a stream, go jump. And you would jump for hours.
yes.
You would jump through 8 streams of water. Oh, your legs are all itchy.
If you're lucky, you had a slip and slide.
Yeah, or if you were poor, you had a tarp.
Yeah.
And if you were adventurous and poor, you had a tarp and the soap. And then you were cooking. And then you just left. And you would go out. And you would have this adventure. You had like 10 hours. And you would meet strangers. And you would discover weird things in the woods. And you would get in a fight. And you would get scars. And you would come home. And your parents knew none of it. They had no idea of this. You lived a Huck Finn day every day. And they're like, what did you do today? You're like, I jumped off the school roof. And now I'm home. And they're like, that's fine. And now we're like involved in their lives because we know that was not good that we did that. So now
we're like, before you get on screens, you have to do 30 minutes of creative time. 2 household chores.
Yes.
30 minutes of outside activity.
Yes. And then
you can sit on your iPad from 10:30 to 6:30.
And they get on their devices and play Fortnite and Minecraft, and we lived that. We were out chasing people and building things with blocks and little shelters and shooting things at our friends. We lived Fortnite and Minecraft every day of summer until they posted the school list. And you're like,
ran to the elementary school.
Every day.
I got the mean teacher.
Yes, exactly. Dang it. Yeah, you would just like, what did you do today? You're like, oh, I learned how to drive a 4-wheeler. What? Where'd you find a 4-wheeler? Don't ask questions, Father.
You didn't.
I forged a new friendship in the ravine. We have new alliances.
Smashed a snake with a stick.
Yeah. Here it is. Yes. I do love when a home commits to a theme.
Yeah.
You're like, so you walk in, you're like, okay, so it's a seashell home.
Nice.
All right.
You know what you're going to get.
Oh, it's a coffee home. We got coffee.
Okay.
Don't talk to me till I've had my. It's just coffee, art. They collect the Starbucks mugs from every city. What are some of the other?
Like a y'all sign.
Oh, y'all's a big one too. Yeah.
A southern flair.
A southern flair is definitely a big one.
Inspiration home. So
Oh, just inspirational quotes everywhere. Yeah.
gather,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
love.
Uh-huh.
Love gathers here.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. There's sports home. Sports home is a classic. Often a divorced dad. Or there's garage. I like when a dad gets the garage.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the beer signs and
Beer signs are classic.
Yep.
I have, I'm a
Fluorescent
40-year-old male now, and I have
Yeah.
acquired enough random crap that I'm like, I need a space for my stuff. I need some walls. I've got a couple bats, a couple jerseys, a couple posters that need to go up, a couple of baseballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the other theme homes? I mean, I said seashells. Beach is definitely one,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
that you see a lot down here. Beach, coffee, inspirational, cross.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Faith.
a faith Christian home.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, plant, obviously, the indoor plants.
Indoor plant
mama,
home is a
the
classic.
Plant daddies.
Yeah, plant daddies.
Right.
Well, what
about-
happens is sometimes people figure out, well, that's your thing, and so then that's the gift that you get over and over. This happened to my mom. My mom's place became a wolf home,
Yeah.
and she had a wolf home. It was just wolf stuff everywhere. It was like, oh, you got a wolf table, lots of art,
It's kind of galaxies and then a wolf.
What about Dreamcatcher home? I've seen some Dreamcatcher.
Oh,
That-
Southwest.
Southwest
Yeah,
is a
Southwest.
classic.
Yeah.
Southwest home. Never in the Southwest, by the way.
Not to be confused with like kind of forest, wilderness, pine needle,
Carved bear.
Yeah.
exposed wood.
There's
yeah.
totally a forest home.
That's not in a cabin.
Yeah. Cabin chic.
Someone.
Plaid. A lot of plaid.
There's certainly military home. Military home's a classic.
Yeah.
I do think military home differs from Southern Flair faith home. Southern faith
They'll
home,
have some
America.
Americana.
They'll have some Americana.
Mhm.
Coca-Cola home.
Antique home.
Antique home is a
Yeah.
classic.
Kind of like a collector
Yeah.
feeling.
I definitely see a lot of like freedom garages now. A
Ooh.
lot of them flags up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
tis
They're
the.
Flags.
loud about their views.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
so that's you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think most of the homes that I've been in over our last 18 years have been toddler home, though. So you're just
Yeah,
like
just toys everywhere.
toys everywhere.
Yeah, just everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Cat home. Animal home is definitely one of them. Not only just like the art, but like the animal itself, where you're like, it's a pet house. All right.
There's like a snake in the corner. Yeah. Like the
Yeah.
container.
What about aquarium home? There's a fish. Some people go
Yeah.
hard. That's expensive though. That's
That's nice.
that's a lot of work. So,
Mhm.
anyways, DVD home.
DVD towers?
Yeah, entertainment.
Yeah.
Just all entertainment
Everywhere-
center.
Everywhere you go.
Oh.
Yeah, they got a kitchen TV
Yeah.
and a dining room
Yeah.
TV and a living room
Poolside
TV.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Western home. I've definitely seen some Western home, some cowboy home. Did we talk about cowboy home yet?
No.
Western cowboy home is a classic.
Yeah.
The John Wayne Hotel. Hey, you do you. All right? You do you.
Mhm.
What I do is I call our home, I would call Andre's home. That's the name of our landlord.
Baby season is it is so short.
Yeah.
And people really idolize it.
Yeah.
Right? And anyway, I think you got to go in assuming the best of intentions,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like enjoy it. It goes by fast.
Yeah.
But what you really feel is like a guilt and a shame for not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, that's
being
interesting.
too tired to enjoy it. or-
Yeah.
and then older parents are stressed, and in general you can't talk so much about young adult and teen problems publicly.
Yeah.
You can talk more about like, oh, my baby's not sleeping.
Yeah.
And babies don't care if you complain about them.
Yeah.
So then the older parents are putting their problems on you, and
Yeah.
you're like, dude, I just got started.
Yeah.
I don't know any better, and you're raining on my parade, you know?
I think you're right. I think that all makes a lot of sense. And I do think that people have a lot of guilt about the years of when they parented teens as well, which makes it an even better metaphor, which makes even more sense of why they compare it to Nam. They're like, I don't know if I should have even been fighting that war in the first place. There's a lot of gray area, man.
I didn't choose this.
I was doing what I thought I was best, man. I just got drafted into this. I was a kid. I was a kid myself. Part of the reason, though, I think that people respond so... Part of the reason that people... what's the word? They... part of the reason that people remember the young years so fondly is they forget them because they were just so delusionally tired.
Yeah.
Like, you don't remember them as accurately because it was so long ago, and you were just tired, man. You were just all... It's like...
It felt simple.
Yeah.
It's just like feed, change, sleep.
There was a simplicity to it right now. You're like, oh, man, I'm really stressed that my teen's going to get home by 1 a.m., and you're like, I would love to just quietly breastfeed this child in the night.
But it wasn't simple. It wasn't simple
because
you didn't know
it
what
hurt.
You didn't know what you were doing. That's the irony. I was gonna say
it's been a lot simpler if he could just latch on.
Never leave my sight.
Little side sleeper, the side bed
sleeper.
The co-sleeper. Did you guys ever do the co-sleeper?
Yeah, I was still practically co-sleeper.
No, Claire got in our bed last night. So yeah. I'm glad we never did the co-sleeper because I think I would have ended up there. Yeah. People say that. It's so funny. I don't know what it is, but people remember those baby years like, oh, they were just so magical in their life. It's like, dude, you slept in the crib 3 nights a week.
Yeah, you were in a trance.
You crawled in the crib. You crawled in the crib. You slept in fetal because that was the only position available. It's all just a trance, man. You remember, you're remembering potty training years fondly? Your whole house was wet for years?
I know. But they were like, but they said the cutest things.
Yeah. You know what it is you think back of your racing years fondly, running.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to, not remember the friendships and the camaraderie and the team bonding and the medals. You have to remember the puking at the finish line.
Yeah.
You have to remember
or the anxiety, on the line, or
telling a parent of young children to remember these years. You're going to miss these years. Cherish every moment.
Yeah.
Telling a pair of young children that is yelling at a marathon runner on mile 20 who just puked with chapped nipples, being like, these are the best years of your life.
Yeah.
Remember this moment. You'll never feel better than you do right now.
You'll never get this back.
And you're telling this to some mom who you're like, my nipples are bleeding.
Yeah.
This hurts. I'm chapped everywhere. I'm dehydrated. And yeah, I will feel better at the finish line of this, but I don't have my medal yet.
I mean, the finish line is the saddest. Right?
Oh.
For parenting. Gotta let them grow up.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Hey, everybody. Want to give a special shout out to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up. Thanks so much for giving to the pod and getting a little back. That is Adam Bush,
Averill Griffiths,
Allison Nelson,
Andy and Darlene Girton,
Avery Starr,
Bonnie Galindo,
Brandon Schoenberger,
Carrie Teague,
Christopher and Bridget Finland,
Code to Grow,
Courtney Eibling,
Damaris Diaz-Stevens,
Daniel Owens,
Dave and Melissa Cox,
Dave Hoagland,
Dustin Daly,
Jason and Francis White,
Jen Thurk,
Jessica Hanrahan,
Jonathan Rivera,
Jordan Cowan,
Juliana Smith,
Lori Amos,
Lauren and Nick Rachel,
Matt and Sam Slosdom,
Michelle Caslon,
Nicole Carraz,
Norman Perron,
Preston and Rachel Wilson,
Rachel Kennedy,
Robert and Nellie Capon,
Scott Elliott,
Stephen Menya, and Tiffany Payne. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
everybody.